Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paisudambo, and I am originally from Western Kenya, but I currently live, work, and study in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. Right now is around 4:37 a.m. Washington, D.C. local time. There's a lot of snow outside, and I woke up at 2:30 a.m. to work on KISWATE project as a volunteer before I can prepare myself and leave for work, my work in the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this press briefing, which is entitled The State of Digitization of Schools by KISWATE in my country of birth, the Republic of Kenya. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Daniel Logula, the new principal at St. Mary's Okwala High School, and Mrs. Mildred Ok, the new principal at Lufunga Girls High School, both in Ugenya sub-county, from Ugenya sub-county. Now, thank you so much for welcoming Mr. Joni Uya, the retired chief principal with the TSC, and Mr. Ernesto Boir, the KISWATE Field Officer, to your schools yesterday. KISWATE engages schools in Ugenya sub-county through principals of those schools on account of the following reasons. Namely, one, I come from the area and I am an alumni of St. Mary's Okwala High School, which is one of the schools in the academy from Ugenya sub-county. So my engagement with schools in Ugenya sub-county has never been personal. And therefore, I call upon the new principals to study the KISWATE files left behind by the former principals of those schools and bring any pending issues to my attention. Since COVID-19, I have given scholarships to 350 students, most of whom are from schools in Ugenya. At St. Mary's Okwala High School, I've given partial scholarship to 7 students. 5 of these students are currently in the national universities, and 2, their whereabout is not known. I don't know whether they are in colleges or they are still at home. I've also given 2 students scholarship from Lufunga Girls High School, and these 2 students are taking diploma and certificate courses at the Eldoret National Polytechnic in Eldoret, Kenya, courtesy of partial scholarship from KISWATE. I have also converted the school or connected the schools to free Wi-Fi internet in 4 classrooms. These are a classroom designated to be a digital lab, and 3 classrooms, one for grade 10, another for Form 3, and another for Form 4. The schools which benefited from this initiative from Ugenya sub-county are 1, St. Mary's Okwala High School, number 2, Lufunga Girls High School, number 3, Uyundo Secondary School, number 4, Tagonya Secondary School, number 5, St. Anne Sega Township Secondary School, number 6 is Ndenga Secondary School, but when KISWATE engineers went to St. Paul's Ndenga Secondary School, we found the schools already connected to 5G internet. Uh, and therefore, there was no need of putting another internet at the school. However, KISWATE promised to extend the internet to classrooms and the principal's residence. Uh, Please note that the internet we are connecting to the schools is not for the staff room only. It is for the students. It's for both the staff room and the students. And therefore, if you are a principal of a KISWATE adopted schools and you have connected the internet only to the staff room, then your school is not connected to the internet. This internet is supposed to benefit students in the classrooms. This internet is supposed to help teachers teach in the classroom by pulling resources online from our databases, our repository, our digital libraries, and any other resource that is available online that cannot operate without the internet. KISWATE did not connect Wi-Fi internet to Barodar Secondary School because the school did not give KISWATE letter of authority to digitize their schools. Once this is done, KISWATE will install Wi-Fi internet to the schools. After installing the internet, it is the responsibility of the individual schools to pay monthly subscription fees of 4,000 per month to Safaricom to maintain internet connectivity. The same applies to extending the internet beyond 4 classrooms. You might find a school has got double streams or 3 streams, and therefore they have got more than 4 classrooms. That responsibility is with the school itself, not KISWATE. At St. Mary's Okwala High School and Barodar Secondary School need to give KISWATE the letter of authority to digitize their schools. If this is not done by March 30th, 2026, I will not mind replacing the 2 schools with the Seranga Secondary School in the neighborhood and Kogere Secondary School in the neighborhood of Barodar Secondary School. Concerning the allowances for board of management of these schools, for the 5th KISWATE annual general meeting, I wish to clearly state that KISWATE has already paid the allowances to board members for schools such as St. Paul's Junior Secondary School in Yala, in Gamesab County, and is in the process of paying allowances to the board members for schools such as St. Mary's Okwala High School, Funga Girls High School, Funga Girls High School, among others. All schools from Ugenya sub-county have to participate in the second dry run in order to keep their membership in the academy active. My team and I have already drafted the timetable for the second dry run as detailed below. The second dry run will run from April 9 to 13th, Monday to Friday, and will be held from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for day schools and 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for boarding schools. It is for these reasons, that I've invited the principals of KISWATE adopted schools in the whole country, including the 7 schools from Ugenya sub-county, to come for a special meeting, a mandatory meeting scheduled for Saturday, this coming Saturday, which is going to be February 7th, 2026, from 3 to 5 p.m. to ratify this timetable or to approve this timetable. A school must attend a minimum of 3 classes in order to move to the next level of digitization. I want to recognize St. Thomas Nduru Mix Secondary School in Siaya County and Kimushi Secondary School in Thika West, Kiambu County, for being the most active schools during the first dry run. As promised to the principals of each of these schools, will receive 50,000 Kenya shillings to sponsor a meal of lunch comprising of beef, that is one bowl, for the students in the whole school to celebrate such milestones in the history of their school. I wish to inform members of the public that scholarship that was created to renovate St. Mary's Okwala High School, targeting 24 junior secondary schools in the catchment area of St. Mary's Okwala High School, has been cancelled due to the following reasons. One, the junior secondary schools did not meet the deadline for submission of letter of authority to digitize their schools by KISWATE. The second reason is the transition of leadership at St. Mary's Okwala High School. You know, transition is never easy, and we need to allow the new principal to settle in his office so that when we bring up an issue, he's already settled and is able to give us his professional advice. KISWATE recognizes the principal as the technocrat posted by the Ministry of Education or the government of Kenya to run the schools, and therefore the buck stops with the principal. Any advice given by the principal must be taken by the board of management as the golden truth. And any board that does not support the principal of any school to carry out their duty, to carry out their duties as per the education policy, is not a progressive board, and such board must be removed immediately. As KISWATE, we go by what the principal says, because he is the technocrat, trained, vetted, proved, and redeployed in the school. He knows what is good for the school. He knows what is not good for the school. I'm not saying this so that they approve the digitization of their schools by KISWATE. If the principal tells us that at this particular moment, your program, the digitization of schools, is a very good program, but we are sorry to inform you that at this particular moment, we are not ready. We will get back to you when we are ready. We have to respect that because he's the professional on the ground. Now, in this regard, KISWATE has taken action as follows. All the 24 junior secondary schools that were earmarked for the scholarship are asked to submit the letter of authority from their boards of management to KISWATE to digitize their schools by April 30th, 2026. The scholarship will be advertised afresh to target the current grade 9 students in those schools. 3, KISWATE received the letter of authority to digitize one junior secondary school, to digitize St. Mary's Okwala Boys Elementary and Junior Secondary School one day after the deadline for the submission of the scholarship is for the submission of the scholarship. This was received when the portal for the submission of the scholarship to our development partners was already closed. And there's nothing we could do with that letter when the portal was already closed. And therefore, as of today, grade 9 students at St. Mary's Okwala Boys Elementary and Junior Secondary School have already qualified for the scholarship, and recruitment of 5 students from the school will start soon. Concerning facilitation allowances for assistant class teachers, I wish to bring to the attention of our schools that when global teacher on the screen from our base transmission station is teaching online, this teacher must be supported by another teacher who is physically based on the ground to monitor students' behavior, to guarantee the security of the students, to make sure that the gadgets that are running these technologies are in good shape for the transmission of lesson to take place. This teacher must be an adult registered by TS Teacher Service Commission of Kenya, or must be a member of support staff of that particular school, like could be a librarian, could be a lab technician, so long as he is an adult. Now, this is what we are calling an assistant class teacher, an assistant to the KDA global teacher who is teaching online. Now, this teacher must not be a teacher of the same subjects like the KISWATE global teacher, because the aim of this project is to eradicate shortages of teachers in certain subjects, in certain subjects where there is acute need. Now, if you have a teacher of that subject, why should you subscribe to KISWATE? Why do you allow this teacher to teach the students using the traditional method? And therefore, it is our expectation from KISWATE that when we'll be transmitting lessons from our base transmission stations, there will be teacher that cannot teach the subject that is being transmitted, who is going to stay with the students in the classroom when the lessons are in progress. Now, I call upon the principals of all schools in Kenya that are facing acute shortages of teachers to become creative and assign responsibilities of supervising these classrooms to their teachers that already have in the staff room. Each teacher can be allocated maybe supervision of one class, but to just sit with the student. He can sit there when he's prepared for the next lesson in the day. Now, payment of these teachers, the assistant class teachers, is the responsibility of the board of management of the schools where they are working and the Teacher Service Commission of Kenya. KISWATE's responsibility is to identify, train, and redeploy a global teacher in subjects where there is acute shortage and provide this teacher with the technology and the digital devices that will enable him teach globally. Teach globally. That is what we have been doing. That is what we intend to do. And for this reason, I therefore want to inform members of the public that out of the 30 teachers that signed up for free training to become digital educators at KISWATE Digital Academy, the following teachers have been interviewed, have successfully completed their courses, interviewed by KISWATE, and recommended to Teacher Service Commission for recognition, redeployment, and promotion as pioneer digital educators in the country. Number one, Mr. Collins Otieno Sagege from Dede Girls, Mary Goretti Dede Girls High School in Awendo, sub-county in Migori County. He has also been proposed to be the Director General, to be the Director of KISWATE Transmission Center. Number two is Madam Beatrice Ikobe, the current Deputy Principal of Nile Road Special Secondary School in Njiru Sub-County, Nairobi County, along Kangundo Road in Nairobi, Kenya. Number three is Mr. Joseph Waweru, from Kenyatta Secondary School, Kenyatta Girls Secondary School in Makongeni, Thika West Sub-County, Kiambu County in Central Region of Kenya. Number 4 is Miriam Kamau from the same school in Central Region of Kenya. Number 5 is Rhoda Hanaka from Kagonya Secondary School in Ugenya Sub-County, Siaya County in Central Region of Kenya. Number 6 is Dominic Juma from the same school as Rhoda Hanaka. Number 7 is Mr. Michael Ahendera, the KDA Global Principal, a retired senior principal with Teachers Service Commission. Number 8 is Mr. Thomas from Ambira High School in Ugenya Sub-County, Siaya County, and Central Nyanza Region of Kenya. In total, we have 8 teachers. No, we have one more teacher. This is Ann Nyada, who will be teaching essential mathematics, and Ann Nyada is Lehesiga's leadership center, I think in Migori Sub-County, in Migori County, in Southern Nyanza region of Kenya. That gives us a total of 9 staff. Now, in our communication to Teacher Service Commission, we are asking the Teacher Service Commission to hire, rehire, promote, and redeploy these teachers so to the National Transmission Center or any of the regional transmission centers that we have proposed so that we can use these teachers to eliminate shortages of teachers in the following subjects. Number 1, Kiswahili. Number 2, English. Number 3, essential mathematics. Number 4, core mathematics. Number 5, biology. Number 6, physics. Number 7, chemistry. Number 8, community service. Number 7, business studies. Number 8, computer studies. And you will agree with me that a student who will be ready to take that combination of subjects, which comprises of the core subjects and subjects drawn from the STEM pathway, will be able to meet the minimum requirement for graduation from high school with a national certificate from Kenya's certificate of Kenya National Examination Council. As time goes by and we bring more partners on board, we are going to add more subjects. We are going to add more subjects to that group of subjects. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say this, that digitization of schools is never an easy affair. And this cannot be left to the government alone. We must bring all stakeholders in our schools on board and identify each role for each of the stakeholders. So, ladies and gentlemen, KISWATE will only be responsible for payment of global teachers. Any school that cannot prioritize payment of internet subscription fee of 4,000 shillings per month and payment of facilitation fee to the teachers who will be physically present with the students during the KISWATE live lesson are hereby advised to drop from the project. Digitization of schools is always a complex process. It cannot be left to the government of the day alone. And therefore, each party must play its role. KISWATE has already done its part by spending 11 years in the wilderness to come up with 3 innovations. We expect the government of Kenya also to play their roles by giving approval to this innovation to be prototyped in my country of birth, the Republic of Kenya. We have already informed the relevant government authorities about these innovations. We have informed the Kenyan Embassy in Washington, D.C., in the United States of America, and asked them to inform the President of Kenya about these innovations with the capability to reduce teacher shortages, missed lesson due to unplanned teachers' absenteeism, and the high cost of textbooks in the Republic of Kenya. We have also, and later in the continent of Africa, we have also made a presentation to the technical committee at the Ministry of Education, and we are waiting for an invitation for the second presentation to the cabinet secretary, the permanent secretary, and the director general at the Ministry of Education before this is scaled to the cabinet. My team and I have also submitted the proposal to Teacher Service Commission for training of teachers to become digital educators. And the TSC responded back asking for 10 points report on the same, one of which included submission of approval for KISWATE curriculum to Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, which we have already done so. As a fellow of the Institute of the African Institute of Professional Studies, African Institute of Development, and the African Institute of Professional and Development Studies, IPADS, at the University of Eldoret. KISWATE is in the process of seeking approval from the University of Eldoret to launch a postgraduate diploma certificate, postgraduate certificate and short courses for digital education, targeting teachers who are already working in our schools in Kenya. Today, I'm calling upon the various universities to change their curriculum for training teachers to meet the dynamic landscape in the profession. It will be embarrassing to have a student more competent than the teacher in the use of digital tools in the school ecosystem. This is the reason why teachers must abandon all their side hustles and take training to become a digital educator very seriously. Any teacher that cannot do this will assume that that teacher is not interested in his or her job. We have offered such training for free, and currently, if the proposal submitted to Teacher Service Commission goes through, the TSC will sponsor 52,500 teachers per year for this training in the next 6 years, totaling to training of 315,000 teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, digitization of school cannot take place without students being trained on how to use the technology and the devices. This has been scheduled during school holidays for 2 weeks for each holiday so that it does not interfere with the curriculum coverage in our schools. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not need to choose Kenya or Ugenya to roll out this innovation for free. But the wise man said that charity begins at home. I was born in Sia County in a small village called Ulanda that is not even known to the public. But I always associate myself with the neighboring village, Luero, which is more popular to the public than Olanda. Although I live in the United States, Kenya remains my country of birth, and therefore any of my innovations must benefit Kenyans first before it can benefit the rest of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to me. Bye for now. Thank you.